Brilliance Audio presents Red, White, and the Blues by Rysa Walker. Performed by Kate Rudd and Eric G. Dove. And that's also not food. RJ reaches into his daughter's mouth and fishes out a mangled leaf. There's no complaint from Yunhee this time, so the leaf apparently wasn't as tasty as the yellow dandelion he'd extracted from her chubby cheeks a few minutes ago. She still looks a bit put out, though. RJ scoops the baby from the lawn and swings her up toward the bright autumn sky, earning himself a mostly toothless grin, followed by a string of leaf-flecked drool to decorate the front of his shirt. He wipes the baby's chin with his sleeve. Junebug and I are going inside to get some cheese puffs, since she seems to be in the mood to nibble. Do you guys want anything? Lorena and I both shake our heads. RJ's cousin, Alex, is too deep into whatever he's reading on his screen to even hear the question. It's a minor miracle that we were able to lure him outside for brunch on the patio and some fresh air. He's been holed up in the library, surrounded by his various computers and 3D displays, for at least 24 hours. The goal was to get food into him and then convince him to sleep. But I think the second half of that plan may be doomed, given that Alex just gulped down a large mug of black coffee and is now munching his way through the bag of caffeinated jelly beans he keeps at his desk. He has good reason to be stressed. Even though we managed to restore the timeline, Jack is still stuck in 1966. It feels wrong being here without him, and I suspect that it's at least as hard on Alex as it is on me. His best friend is stranded 170 years in the past, thanks to technology Alex himself invented. Or rather, will invent at some point in the future, apparently with our help. So it has to be making him crazy that he can't bring Jack home. In my case, however, I can sort of be two places at once. I can spend the entire day and night in 1966 with Jack, pull out my CHRONOS key and drop in here for as long as I want, then blink back to Jack 10 seconds after I left. When I glance over at Lorena, there's a knowing look in her eyes. When are you heading back to Memphis? Not sure. I haven't had a swim in days, so I may head down to the basement for a bit. And Jarvis says I have messages waiting. I'm pretty sure at least one of them is from my thesis advisor wanting to set a time for our meeting on Friday. And I haven't even thought about my research in over a week. So I need to spend a little time looking over my notes before... Given Lorena Young's eerie knack for homing in on what I'm thinking, I'm not surprised she's unconvinced. You should at least try what I suggested, Madi. If Jack is all comfy and cozy there, and then, he's going to have a much harder time getting back to the here and now. Last night, I'd promised to simply deliver Jack's suitcase and head back home. And I'd actually planned to do that when I left, but the more I thought about it, the less I liked him being there alone. Her theory that Jack needs to avoid getting too comfortable in the past is bunk anyway. He spent all day yesterday trying to jump home. Even after he said we were done for the day, that we'd try again this morning, he still reached for the CHRONOS key tucked inside his t-shirt at least a dozen times during the night, centering the medallion in his palm, no doubt praying that this time it would work. But it never did. He could lock in the location and could even see what was happening on the other end, but he couldn't jump. Which is pretty much exactly what has happened on every other occasion Jack Merrick has tried to use the CHRONOS key. Every occasion except one, that is. If Jack hadn't been able to make the key work that one time, I would be dead. John Lennon would have died as well. Lennon was eventually murdered anyway, but his death would have been 14 years early. Stopping that assassination, along with the premature deaths of Martin Luther King Jr., singer Mary Travers, and author James Baldwin, put our timeline back on its original track, averting a reality where the Vietnam War went on for 6 months longer and resulted in the deaths of nearly 35,000 additional people, erasing millions of offspring they would have produced, including Lorena and Yunhee.